Hi everybody, it's Christina Quick, the Tarot Biz Mentor here from the Profitable Psychic Divination and Business Academy. Welcome to another video. So today is going to be a little bit of a different video than I've done before. I'm going to talk a little bit about a different subject, though it's very parallel to my work here on YouTube and the trainings that I provide you guys here with. And today I'm going to talk about the importance of having a fallback vocation. Okay. So the reality is there's a lot that's going on in the world right now. It's kind of scary out there right now with the coronavirus and, among other things, and people are scared, and rightly so. And it seems like every single day there's more and more news about businesses temporarily shutting down. And I know a lot of my audience here are people who are they're either full-time psychic advisors or they're part-time or they're hoping to get into it and they're still kind of working that 9-to-5 job. So there's a lot of people out there who are dependent on that 9-to-5 job, that system of going out to work every day, going to a place. And they're finding that a lot of places don't offer PTO and they don't offer paid vacation time. And I think that even the government was trying to pass some type of bill to give everybody 2 weeks paid vacation, but in reality, that's just going to bankrupt small business. And so we're all, in that sense, everybody's kind of screwed. There's really no good solution. If the government wanted to actually give businesses money to be able to do that, that would actually be a good solution. But that money has to come from somewhere. And the fact of the matter is that most businesses, like 90% of businesses out there, are considered small businesses. And to be able to give their employees 2 weeks paid vacation time is just really impossible. Businesses will go under. So it's like, okay, so do we give people time off and pay them for that? And then they don't have a job to come back to because the business has gone bankrupt. And then, there's a whole domino effect with that. So it's very complicated. I'm not going to sit here and say like I know what the best course of action is or anything like that. It's not like that. But what I am saying is that there's a lot of people out there that are displaced right now who depend on that 9-to-5 system, that depend on that outside job to pay their bills. And it's just, for some people, it's not available. And some people can work from home, and that's wonderful. But a lot of businesses aren't set up that way, especially our service industry businesses, like our restaurant people, our sales associates, and tons of other, businesses like that, where they can't really do their job from home online. They have to be there in person to do their job, and those people are most at risk, as well as the immunocompromised and the elderly and things like that. There's a whole bunch of people at risk, but I mean, as far as at risk of not being able to pay your bills or, getting behind and being in debt or wondering where you're going to get that money for groceries that week, right? So it's bad enough that all the stores are pretty much out of stuff, let alone how are you going to get the money to pay for it? So today, this information that I'm going to present to you today, it might be a little too late for some of you, but in the future, I hope that you take to heart what I'm going to share with you today and just think about it in terms of, even though you might have a specialized skill, thinking about getting another specialized skill or falling back on a recession-proof type of vocation that people are still going to spend money and are still going to ask and require those services. Okay. So my intention is to empower you today, that you can, walk away from this video with a little bit of hope, and feel like you just feel a lot more empowered about what's going on in the world and your ability to survive what goes on in the world. It's kind of scary. So in this video, I'm going to be 100% honest, and I'm going to be 100% serious. So I take this very, very seriously. Helping people start businesses from home is like my life. That's what I do. Outside of my husband, that's all that I live for. It really is. I absolutely love what I do. I've helped people do this for 5 years now. A lot of my work is philanthropic in nature, meaning that I give a lot of information away for free regarding how to do this. You'll see that I will kind of point to different trainings that I have to kind of get you started on some of these things. And I also have some online communities where you can come in and you can chat with us and get some more ideas and chat with other people who are kind of in a similar situation. So, also, I'm going to touch on some maybe slightly touchy things, some things that you may have some negative preconceived ideas about, and I just want you to prepare yourselves for that. This is going to be probably a not safe for work kind of video, so if you have little ears, you might want to put in some earbuds. But nothing's going to be said that's like, it's not going to be profane or anything like that. I'm going to keep it as respectful and as classy as I can. All right. So just please come to it with an open mind. And thank you. I appreciate that. And we'll go ahead and get into this video. And also, something else that needs to be said, and I'm going to talk about some things that you need to look into your laws and regulations in your area concerning that. But when you're in a recession and it's like, okay, do I starve or do I do this? Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and you got to figure out the legalities and logistics along the way, right? Okay, so we're on the same page. So I'm actually going to go in order of demand. So the very first one that's going to be in the highest demand is end of life planning. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't think about that, but yeah, so that's actually one thing that you can get into. And also notaries are included in this. Most states you can actually just apply for a notary license, and I think it's like $20 for a year, something along those lines. And then you have to pay for like your notary card, and you have to pay for like the file booklet thingy that you record all of the stuff in and things like that. But yeah, you can do notaries where you're going around and you're notarizing people's wills or legal documents and things like that. It could also be anything from working at or running funeral homes, or even being a life coach that works with like terminally ill people. It could be, we call them death doulas, or they're kind of like hospice workers that will come and support you during, if you go on hospice, or if you find out that you're terminally ill. Their job is to basically make sure that you are supported. They can also kind of act as spiritual advisors, that sort of thing. Or like I said, you can become like a life coach that specializes in people that are going through transition. Also, for people that maybe you don't want to work with people directly that are terminally ill, but you could work with families and support them in other ways. Just offering support, or helping people plan out their end-of-life celebrations, or party planning for end-of-life celebrations, things like that. Which I have done that before, and that was really interesting. I actually did end-of-life planning party coordination, where I would basically, they would tell me what they wanted, what their plans were, and I would call around and schedule the caterers, the flowers, book the event, reserve the event, things like that. I've done that. I didn't do it professionally, but I did it for a couple people that I know personally that passed away. The second one is tax preparers. And there's an old saying that nothing's certain but taxes and death. And that's very, very true. Tax preparation is largely a seasonal vocation, so it makes it a really good vocation to get into, because the tax season is like from February till the end of like April-ish. That's usually when people are really busy. And then, in between that, if you get really successful and you want to pursue this as a full-time thing, then you can certainly open up your office hours, past the tax season, and you could do like back taxes, or you could do amendments, or you could do consulting, or you could even start getting into accounting, right? And actually, you can get, I got certified in like, I think I had to take like 100 hours of classes, and then I had to do 10 hours of certifications, and then I had to do, I think it was 50 returns. I think it was 50 returns that I had to do to get my tax preparer's number, and that you renew that every single year. And I think you have to go back to tax school every 2 years. I think, don't quote me on that, but if you want to keep up your license, if you want to keep it current. But yeah, so you can actually, a lot of like chains, like, what are some chains? Like, Jackson Hewitt or Liberty Tax or what's the other one? H&R Block. They start classes, I think, around October every year. You can actually go through and train with them to work specifically at that location. So yeah, there's a lot of different places and different ways that you can go about doing that. You can also stay home and do tax preparation. There are some like yearly, annual, like registration fees that you have to pay in order to keep that up, and you have to, buy the software. But every business is going to have expenses. Every business is going to have startup costs. So, it's fairly normal. And actually starting a tax preparation business is very, very cheap. And it has the capability of a very large profitable return if you get started with it and you have a knack for it. You have to like numbers, you have to like rules, you have to like guidelines. And I like all that stuff. So, learning all of that kind of stuff. So for me, that was fun. So if you like numbers and accounting and business and you don't mind doing your accounting and taxes, then that might be a good fit for you. So the third one is going to be psychic and spiritual advisors. And you can probably see where I'm going with this if this isn't your first rodeo on my channel. If you know me, then you know that I'm the dean of the Psychic Hotline School. It's an online Facebook group. Come join us. If you are spiritually or psychically inclined in any way, then if you read cards or, you read auras or anything, if you do any type of psychic reading or any type of psychic advising, the psychic hotlines are a good way to kind of fall back on and have a steady stream of clientele. Because when people are in crisis, they want to have a spiritual advisor. They want to have someone that they can ask these unanswerable questions to, right? I'm not going to go too much into it. I have actually like 21 videos out there on my channel, plus videos I've done with other people on their channels about the psychic hotlines. And what you really need to know is that people call the psychic hotlines because they are looking for support. They're looking to be heard. They're just looking to connect with someone and ask these questions that would be taboo or unsocially acceptable to ask in their everyday life to their friends or family or other professionals, right? So people kind of look at psychic advisors as priests, and we are seeing a huge detachment from Christianity, and people are rejecting Christianity for its patriarchal implications, for so many different things. I'm not going to get into this video because it's a lot. But yeah, so there's a big demand for alternative spiritual counseling out there, and the Psychic Hotlines is a really good place to get started on that. And I have 21 videos. I have, just books of like tips and tricks and scripts and templates. I have a community that's like 4 or 5 years old at this point. We go back years and years, and tons of forums and threads for you to go through. And I don't charge for any of that. That's just the work that I give out because it's just in my heart to do that. And so please join us over there. You could also start your own psychic reading business online. You could do it on your own storefront, on your own webpage. You could do it on Facebook. You could do it on Instagram. You could do it on Etsy, which is one of the ones I recommend. You could even do it on Fiverr. It's kind of a lower paying gig. You're not going to make as much money out of the gate, but Etsy is a really good place to start too. If you're like, I don't really want to, if you don't have a lot of experience, and the idea of the psychic hotlines kind of freaks you out. So here's the thing that, back in the day, like back a couple years ago, this was kind of a different conversation. But now it's a little bit of a different conversation because there's psychic hotlines that let you sell email readings, that let you sell recorded video readings, live video readings, live telephone readings, text as in SMS, sending messages back and forth, and live text. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it now on the psychic hotlines. So it's definitely opened up a little bit more. There's definitely something for everyone, even if you are not very experienced at all and you're still doing email readings and it takes you a long time to do a reading, or if you are, just a badass with it and you can do live readings live in real time, and that's how you're going to make the most money out of it, is doing the live in time readings. So the fourth one is adult entertainment performers. Yeah. So this is a body positive channel. I'm a body positive person. I love body positivity, and I love feminism, and I love empowering women and men and everybody in between to feel empowered with their body and feel like they can actually give something to the world that is from themselves, and it can be pleasurable and it can be very, very enjoyable. So divination and adult entertainment are the oldest professions in the world, and for a good reason, because in times of crisis, people are always looking for a distraction. And you can work from home in the adult entertainment industry. You can work as a phone operator. You can be a webcam performer. You can sell videos. You can sell pictures. There's a lot. There is a lot. And actually, you never even have to get naked. You don't have, some people just want companionship. Some people just want friends with benefits. I mean, there's a lot of different dynamics out there. There's a lot of different opportunities out there. So it's not all like people are just getting naked and showing, what God gave you out to the world for a price. There's a lot of wiggle room in there. There's a lot of different ways that can manifest. And what it really boils down is to intimacy. And I think that's amazing. I think I think it's incredibly empowering. And I think this is a good opportunity to maybe open up the conversation about that. And maybe this is an opportunity for you to challenge your beliefs or challenge your preconceived notions about the adult entertainment industry. So just think about it, just think about it. The next one, number 5, is this is one that's actually not, it is work from home, but you're still going to see people. I debated whether I was going to put this in here or not, but it's part of my past, so I think that I'll go ahead and put it in there. And that is barbering and hairdressing. Not so much hairdressing. We say hairdressing with women because we talk about like fancy cuts and colors and chemical processes and things like that. But it's more so barbering, because the way it is that for women, it's more socially acceptable for women to grow their hair out in times of recession and crisis. Women can go to the store and buy a box of Clairol for $10, and they could dye their hair a little bit darker or a blonde if they have gray or something along those lines, So, and there's plenty of videos online which will, they can tell you how to dye your hair and how to mix supplies. And if you have any questions, get in touch with me. I love talking about hair and hair dye and chemical processes and hair science and things like that. But yeah, so if you, if you were to get into barbering, especially for men, it's not very socially acceptable for men to go without getting their hair cut. And so, if you have a lot of men in your life, then maybe they can't afford the $25 haircut at Great Clips. And so maybe if you have a little bit of skill, if you've ever given your husband or your brother or your kid or your son or your daughter, a haircut, an at-home haircut, and you're not too bad at it, there's a market out there. If you wanted to offer haircuts for $10 at home, I mean, you're going to have people coming in every 2 weeks, and it's a very, very steady business. And it's one of those ones that is recession proof. I mean, especially for men. Men are going to pay to get their haircuts. When I was in the hair industry, no recession ever touched us. No recession ever touched me, because I specialized in barbering for the last 4 years that I was in that industry. I did the straight razor shaves and everything, real traditional barbering. Now you don't have to go that far, and I don't think people expect that, because it's more of a luxury kind of experience nowadays. But what I'm trying to say is that barbering is a really good profession to get into if you know your way around the clippers. It's very easy. You can learn online, and save yourself some money on cutting your kid's hair, your husband's hair, your brother's hair, your brother-in-law, whoever, your father's hair. They'll be happy to probably save a little bit of money on haircuts and give the money to you, especially if they're not too picky. And in a recession, you can't really be too picky, can you? Okay, so the 6th one kind of leads us there from the last one. I mentioned that there's a lot of videos on YouTube teaching you how to do things. If you've thought about starting up a YouTube channel, now is the time. If you have some type of specialized skill at all, I think that you should start up a YouTube channel, or you should start creating courses that teach people that skill. It could be anything. I mean, if you are really into preserving foods, there's a market for people out there who want to learn how to do that. If you are like a yoga instructor, now's the perfect time to start creating yoga videos on YouTube and start making money off of that, or start creating yoga packages to start selling people courses. You could do this on Udemy. I mean, there's a bunch of different online academy websites that you can utilize. You can also teach this one-on-one. So find a specialized skill that you have and figure out how you can teach people how to do it in a virtual environment. And there you go. So there are 6 recession-proof work from home industry jobs, and I have actually worked in 5 out of 6 of these. So I'll leave that to your imagination to figure out which ones those are. And yeah, have fun with that one. But obviously, you know, I'm a psychic advisor, and I kind of maybe gave you a hint on some of the other ones and said I've done that. So I thought that would be kind of fun. You guys could guess which ones I have done and which ones I haven't done. So over to you. Do you have any ideas for people? I would love to know. Do you know of anyone that's hiring any work from home service industry type of jobs? They could be like working for Amazon or customer service or something along those lines. So if you know anybody or you know of a good opportunity, type it down in the comments below and let us know so we can help each other out, so we can empower each other to find ways to make money even when the system is broken and in times of crisis. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.